Right, so let's now start building our web page. I'm just going to show you what we're building today so that it can refresh your memory. So it's always good to have a copy of your draft, even if it's just a scribble, by you whilst you work so you can refer to it as a reference. So we're creating this Go Snorkeling homepage. Now we're going to be doing a few techniques as we go. Obviously, I'll try and go as slow as possible and talk you through each steps, but always feel free to just pause the video and do what you need to do if you get a little bit behind. So yeah, make sure you build alongside with this course and pause as you go. So let's head into the page that we were editing. So it was this test page here. Now we've already mounted Elementor to it, so we can either go edit and then edit with Elementor, or we can just click edit with Elementor straight away, and that'll open the page builder. So we have now set this up so it's 100% full width. I'll explain a little bit about what that means. So we're going to add a column, and for this, this is actually one column, this section here. And what we have is some text like that, a button, and then this image is actually a background image. So let's look at how to do that. So we're going to create a new section, and to do that you click the little button here with the plus. So here you can select your columns. There's different options there and different ratios. But for this, we only really need one. So I'm going to select one column. Now let's add some text. So to get to your widget section, come to the three squares at the top here, click that, and you'll see a huge list of widgets that we can apply to that section and that column. Most of what we need is just these ones up here at the top. So select the heading, drag it over. Now, we actually have two different types of headings here. One that is slightly smaller and then one that's slightly bigger. Now there's many different ways to do it. I'm going to show you the easiest way for now, and then if the course gets more advanced, we'll show you other little shortcuts. So we need to create another text box. So to do that, we can either come to the top, find the widget and drag it over, or with Elementor, if you right click on the widget, you can click duplicate, and that'll create another heading like that. So now we're going to create a button. Head over to the widget and drag the button over. For the rest of the tutorial, I'm actually going to mount this side image to the page so you guys can see what we're building as we go. It may move around a little bit as I work on different sections, but it's always good to have a reference. So now we're going to upload all of these images. So this is a background image. So to select the background, we need to hover over the edit section bit here, click it, and then come to style, background type, select classic, which is this paintbrush icon, and then we can upload an image here. So as you can see, we've got some previous images already installed, but we're going to add all the images that we need now to work with. So open your folder with your compressed images that you've just downloaded. If you haven't downloaded them, just jump back to the previous tutorial and you'll see the image download link there. Double click on the zip file and it will open it as an image folder like this. Highlight them and just drag and drop them over and let them download. Brilliant. So once they've downloaded, we're going to select the image we want, which is this one, image 5, and insert media. Now, it may look like nothing's changed, but what has actually happened is the image is so large that it's only showing us this white section here, so it looks like there's no image. So we're going to tweak the settings and make it fit a little bit nicer. So position, you want bottom center. So now you can see we're at this part of the image here. Attributes, we want scrolled. Repeat, no repeat. And size, we want cover. So we're getting a little bit closer. So now we want to change the height of this box so the image fits in a bit nicer. Now there's different ways to do it. You can either come to your widgets and add a spacer and increase the spacer size like that. Or there's another way to do it and I'll show you how. So right click, delete, select your section, come to layout, and we're going to change the height. So we're going to do minimum height, and we're just going to increase that height till it fits in like that. So that's great. Now we want to add the white space above. So to do that, we're going to add another section. So to add that, we're going to click this little plus symbol here, and we're going to add another column like that. And we want to now drag the column into this new section. So where you can see the little column symbol there, click and drag it up here, and it'll move it into this new section. Now we need to delete this column. So right click, delete, and click preview changes, and let's see how it looks. So because it doesn't look too good on the front end, we're actually going to change the position to center, and then click update. And now as you can see, the whole image is in. So now let's focus on getting these text right. So scroll up to your first text and type in love the ocean, she, comma, and then the next one put loves you. Next, we're going to move these to center. So select the text box, alignment, center. And as mentioned before, previously in the tutorials, we need to change the HTML tags to something a bit more appropriate. So ocean is an LSI word of go snorkeling. It's an associated word, so we can keep that H tag quite high, so 3 is probably okay. And loves you really has nothing to do with that, so we're just going to put H6. Now you'll see that they have changed size, so we're going to change those sizes now. So let's click style, come to text color, come to typography, hover over, and here you can change the font family to lots of different font types. I always stick with default. I find it's the most minimal, which means it loads quicker and it kind of fits most most type of website branding. So always choose one that fits you best. Roboto is also another good one, and as you can see there, it's changed, so it's slightly different. And also Noto Sans again is quite a nice one there. Now you don't want to have loads of text that have different types of fonts, because it will really slow your load side down on your website. So if you have this in one font, this in another font, and as you work down, they're all in different fonts, different sizes. It'll actually make your website load slower because it has to keep loading different fonts. So the best way to make your site load quickly is to have one font family you stick to. So have a good little trawl through and find the one that you like. I'm just going to go for default. And then create maybe 2 or 3 different sized fonts or different weighted fonts that you can just duplicate and then use them throughout the course of your web build. And you'll find that your website loads a lot quicker. If you start having ones that are one size and then one that's a different size, and you've got like 10 different types of fonts that are all different sizes, it means your browser has to load that many different types of fonts. So just stick to 1, 2, or 3, and it'll improve your load size a lot quicker. So the Loves You is one of the biggest fonts, so you want it nice and bold like that. So to increase the size, come to size and just rack up the slider. Let's make it fit 65 because my OCD. We want to make it a bit bolder, so let's do weight and make it 700. The rest are fine, we don't really need to change that. And now we're going to change the Love the Ocean She font. So again, style, typography, and just increase the size a little bit so it's the same size as what we've got. Now we can see here that the gap between these two are a bit big, so we're going to make it a bit smaller. So you can see at the bottom here, line height, and just adjust that to 0, and that'll bring it into a better size. Unfortunately, line height does do both, so we're going to add some padding to the top in a minute, just to separate it away from the header. Next, we want to change our color. So as I showed you on the previous tutorial, jump into coolors.co and find your color scheme, select the hex code, and this is where you need to put it in. So I'm just going to grab mine from Photoshop. So I've got the hex code now. Let's look at putting it in the text color. So if you've navigated away, select the thing you want to change color, so the ocean, and then come to style, text color, click this box and just paste it in here. And you'll see that it has now been added to the right color. So we're using 01617A. Now we can actually save this color so we can use it later on. So let's do that because it speeds things up. So click create new global color, put primary color font 1, click create. Now let's go to loves you. Next we're going to hover over the little world globe here and select the primary color we just saved. So let's click the preview changes and see how it looks on the front end. Get in there. In the back end, we're now going to look at increasing the padding here. So there's many ways to do it. As I said, you can either add a spacer and increase it like so. But personally, I always like to add padding. I feel it probably helps your website load a bit quicker. So click edit section, come to advanced, and you can see we've got our margin and our padding here. So deselect all options, and now let's just keep adding padding to the top till it looks good. I think somewhere around there looks okay. And let's preview changes. Much better. So now we're going to look at focusing on this button. So first let's change the text. So double click the text and type in go snorkeling. We're going to change the button to center, and we're going to go to style, color, primary color, font 1. So now these are all the same color. Next we're going to click hover, and what hover does is when the mouse rolls over it, it makes it look slightly different. So for that we're going to click default, primary color, font 1. Then we're going to click on the color and we're just going to make it slightly darker like so. So now when you roll over it, you can see the button goes slightly darker. Now we're going to save this as Butterhoven 1 and click create. There's also a lot of other features we can use here, like I would like to quite use this hover animation. So if you click that and click grow, when they hover over it, it just makes the button a little bit bigger. So now let's look at our typography. So whilst we're still on the button, come over and click the typography pen. And let's change the weight to 600 like that. It's a bit easier to read. I do feel like the letters are a bit bunched together. So come to letter spacing and just drag them a little bit like that. So now we want to link this button. I'm going to show you how to link buttons. We're just going to link it to a random page because it doesn't really matter for this tutorial. But you can use the same techniques when you build your website. You build your button and then link it to another page. And this is really good. It helps Google navigate through your page, and it also helps users navigate through your page. So come to the front end and select the page that you want to link it to. So we're going to link it to this branding page here. Double click your URL and just make sure you don't have that long preview bit that comes at the end here, copy it, come back into the Elementor backend, make sure you have the button selected, go to content, and here you can see link. I want to double click link and paste it in there like that. So now when we click preview changes and we click the button, it now takes us to the branding page. You can see it's orange here, so it's been highlighted. So we're getting close now. I feel this button needs to be bigger, and possibly we need to give a bit of space here because it looks a bit claustrophobic. So let's go to Elementor. We're going to go style, and we're going to increase the padding. Now this will increase the padding around all 4 sides, so make sure you unlink them. And then increase the padding at the top, so 22 looks quite good. So we'll put the bottom as 22. And then to the right, increase the padding. I'd say 50, 50 on the left. And then let's click preview. So now the button's a bit more dominant, but I feel like the text now is a little bit small and it's lost a little bit in this button. So let's increase the text. So typography, text size, somewhere around 17 looks good. And we're just going to decrease the padding at the top and the bottom. Let's put 15. And the padding from the right and left. So I'll put 40 and 40. Let's preview. And that's a bit better. It's a bit closer to the button that we looked on our tutorial on the side here. I do feel like the edges are still a bit longer, so I'm going to quickly change that to 30 and 30. So now we're going to make these corners a bit more rounded. So back into Elementor, and we have border radius here. So just keep increasing it till we get somewhere that looks good. I'd say 10 looks okay. And we're going to increase now the padding between the loves you and the go snorkeling. So still on the button, click advanced, padding, unlink, and increase the top to 10. That looks okay. Preview changes. And we're getting there now. I still think we need a bit more padding at the top here. So let's select this section and just increase our padding to 20. So now that looks good, but this is only a preview changes. So if we actually close this page, normally Elementor saves it, but sometimes we can lose data. So if you were editing on a live site, you'd do all your changes, and then you would come in and save it. But we're going to save as we go, so that our website, we don't lose any data. So click update, and as you can see, it just refreshes. And now if we open our domain in a private window, which with PCs is Control-Shift-N, and with Macs is Command-Shift-N, and we can see an uncached live version of our site. So it's beginning to look good. So now we're going to add the next section, which is actually 3 sections with inner sections inside each one. So let's add 3 columns. Come to our widgets, select inner section, drag it over like that. Now we're going to add our icon and some text. So let's find our icon widget. And we're going to add our title. We're actually going to copy the font. We're actually going to set a new title because the other ones are slightly too big. So heading. And this one's going to be zero emissions. So now let's look at changing our icon. So click the icon there, And if you search for gas, just click the little pump there. And that will give us our zero emissions icon. So now let's look at putting this icon in a box or a circle. So view and click stacked. And it'll put it in a nice little circle like that. The alignment's okay and everything's fine on this section. So now click style. We're going to make our primary color our hover 1. And we're going to decrease the size of it because it's a little bit big. Somewhere like 28, 30 looks okay like that. So that's our icon setup. Now let's get our title here changed as well. So click your heading. Zero emissions isn't really directly related to snorkeling, but you know, zero emissions is eco-friendly. So we're going to put that as a H4 tag. Come to style, text color, hover 1. And now let's just increase the size a little bit. And we're going to make the weight 700. Next, we need to adjust our columns because they're not correct. So if you hover over the intersection column here, not the main column, the intersection, and where it says column width, just keep hitting up until the dotted line is outside of the circle and it's all looking equal. So 22 looks pretty good. Next, we're going to make sure that this actually sits in the center. So let's click the other column and we're going to change vertical alignment to middle, like so. Click preview changes. And we can see our zero emissions now sits quite central. Now let's create 3 more of those. So to do that, click the intersection, right click, duplicate, and just move it into the column. Same again, right click, duplicate, and just move it into the column. So before we start editing these, we're going to make sure the layout's correct. So preview changes. And it looks okay. The spaces are a little bit far. So let's make them a little bit closer. So select the section. And we have content width here. You want to make sure it's boxed. And just grab the slider and increase it slowly, like so. Hit preview changes. And they're a bit closer together. The text is a little bit close to the icon. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the column of the icon and just increase it a little bit more again. So 26 looks good. Copy 26, select the column of the intersection of that icon, change that to 26, and do the same for the third one. Now let's change the text. So for this one, we're going to put reef safe, and the icon, let's change the icon to fish. And for the last one, we're just going to put WWE approved. Let's change the icon. And we're just going to put dog for now. So let's hit preview changes. So now this is slightly aligned incorrectly. So what we want to do is we want to kind of bring it a bit more central. So let's change the settings. So on this one, select the column, just keep increasing the column. 45 looks okay. Select the widget and then alignment right. Click preview changes. and it's a little bit too far over, so let's move it back 42, preview changes, and it's nice and central. Now let's look at changing the background of this section. So select the section, style, classic, and then the little line in that section you want to put hashtag E like that, and that'll just create a nice grey background that runs all the way across. Preview changes. There we go. So now let's click update, and that's another section finished. So let's move on to the next one. We'll need 2 columns. So we could set this column as a background image like we did before, but let's practice adding images. So come to widgets, select your image and drag it over like that. Choose image and select the image number 4. Insert media. And that looks a good height. We do need a bit of a gap at the top here, but I'm going to add that in a minute. So now we need the suspend yourself in disbelief. So we're going to, as I mentioned before, we want all our fonts to be similar. So we're going to duplicate this and we're going to drag it down because it improves load time. Come to style, typography, and let's just increase the line height back to 1 and change the text to suspend yourself in disbelief. Now we're going to add our paragraph. Obviously I haven't prepared the text for you for this, but we're just going to click text editor, drag it in, and we're just going to select it, copy it, and just paste it a few times so we've got a bit of text. When you come to write your actual text, do a little bit of reading around key phrases and LSI words. Make sure you select the correct key phrase that supports your business. So, use the word snorkeling and choose LSI keywords such as swimming, diving, scuba diving, those kind of things in your text. It will really help Google classify your page. Next, we have the adults only party. So let's use this text here. So duplicate it and drag it in to the bottom here. Add adults only boat party. So next we need an inner section again. So let's create another inner section. Sometimes if you can't add it to the bottom where you need to go, just add it above where you want to place it. And then you can always drag that widget and place that above it so it's in the position you need. So next we're going to add some text. And this is just going to be a line of text. Sign up now for the boat party of a lifetime. Let's duplicate this button. And we're going to drag it down and place it here. Now we're actually going to link this button to another part of the homepage later on. I'll show you how to do that once we've built this section. So this needs to be on one line. Let's just preview changes. So we need to format this slightly better. So let's go to column and just keep opening up column space till we get it on the same line. Change vertical alignment to middle and do the same with the go snorkeling. Now when we preview changes, you can see it's on one line. The go snorkeling doesn't seem to be liking putting it on one line, so let's have a quick look at that. It's because of the padding. So let's remove the padding, so click the button, come to advanced, click the padding and click 0. Preview changes. It's getting more central. And it's probably because of our line height that's causing this issue. So let's go typography and put the line height to 0. Remove all the links and let's just put the padding up a tiny bit to bring it central. Preview changes. And it's nice and central, but it's not in line with the rest. So let's come back, click inner section, and where it says content width, put full width, and just unlink all of those. Come to column and do the same. And now when we preview changes, we'll see that it's properly lined with the rest of the text. So the text here is a little bit hard to read, so let's make it a bit bolder. So just like with titles, it's the same process. Click Style, Typography, weight 600, and let's do the same for this text here. Now looking at it, we do need to set as this is the background image because Go Snorkeling actually lays over it. So let's delete this. Select column, style, classic, image, image 4, insert image. Next we want center center, scrolled, repeat no repeat, and change it to cover. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to increase the padding on this section. So deselect, increase top link to 35, looks good. And we're going to copy that and add it to the bottom as well. Next we're going to select this column, advanced, delink, and increase the padding to the top. And as we can see, the image on the right now gets slightly bigger because we're increasing the padding. So we've gone for 89, let's make it 90. And then again, we're going to add some more padding to the bottom. Like so. Let's click Preview Changes. And our page is getting there now. So I feel that the left-hand column needs to be slightly bigger than the right, maybe 60%. And also we need to increase the padding here because it's a bit tight and a bit claustrophobic. So let's go back. Make sure we clicked on the left column. And then let's add padding to the right. And that will just push the text away, giving it a bit of breathing room. Come to layout and let's type 60 in there. And let's have a look at preview changes. And it's starting to take shape now. The next thing we need to do is we need to format this box a little bit better with the text in it. So come to Elementor, click the text. Now you can either in text editor here on content change the alignment, but that will actually do you more damage down the line because when you come to format it for mobile, you won't be able to change it. So the best way to do that is in style. And then we want justified. Preview changes. And there we go. So I feel like this could do with a tiny bit more padding. So I'm just going to quickly add that now. Just increase that to 65. And I'm happy with that now. It looks good. These are a bit too far spaced, so let's decrease the column width on this one. Layout, just decrease that down. And we're going to now add the text to the right hand side. So heading, so click the loves you, duplicate, drag that down and paste that in the box there. Change the text to go snorkeling. Because this is to do with our company, let's make it H2. And we're going to change it to white. Select the column and then come to layout, vertical alignment, bottom, advanced, unlink, and then add padding to the bottom like that. 40 looks okay. So we've just finished a section and we're happy with it. So click update and save. And we're going to move on to the next section now, which is 2 columns. The column on the right has an image in it. So we're going to drop that image in. So widgets, image. Let's select the image, select the boat, and insert it like so. Now, the image is far too big, so what we want to do is, what will happen is the image will load, and it will load its biggest size, which we don't need. So you want, when it tries to load it, to load a smaller size. So where it says image size here, click it, and just keep trying different options until you see one that doesn't work. So this one's too small and blurry. So we know that 768 is a good size. It's the smallest one we can get without compromising. So next, the column width actually goes to the edge of this column here. So we can actually click it on the dotted line and drag it like so. Now, the image is a little bit too big, so let's look at cropping it. So select the image, edit image, crop, and move these lines down like so. Click crop again, hit save, and just click update. So now let's update and refresh. We can now see that the image is cropped to the size that we need. So next, let's copy our title, right click duplicate, and drag it over here. Change the text to experience without the fuss. And then again, we're going to have three elements here to describe the pros about our business. So come up to our elements here, right click duplicate, and drag that down and paste it in the box below. Select the image, type in money, and let's click the credit card button. We're going to put affordable rates, right click the intersection and duplicate. Let's change the widget again. We'll type in swim and click change the text. Type in experienced divers, duplicate, change the widget. Type in first and click the first aid. I'm going to put first aid trained. We're going to make one more. So type in ship and click ship. And we're going to put friendly crew. So you can do things like this with your website once you've got things set up. We're going to click column, vertical alignment, middle, and we've finished the section now. So let's click update. See how it looks on the front end. Close these tabs down. and it's starting to come together. The next section is a banner that runs all the way across. So let's go back to Elementor, click the plus, one column, click the section, style, classic, image, and then we want image 8. Insert image, position, center. We're going to actually see how it looks with fixed. What fixed is that as you scroll, you can see more of the image like that. Default, no repeat. And we're going to click cover. So next we want to add our text. So let's go to the top, heading. We're going to type in capitals, do, enter, you, enter, dare, question mark, exclamation mark. Again, nothing to do with our SEO, nothing to do with our site. So let's put it as H6, style, text color white. We're just going to increase the size till we get somewhere we like around there. Default 900. Now, as you can see with headings, if you type enters here, it doesn't always translate. So the best way to do that, I'm going to teach you a very quick bit of code. So hold shift, left chevron like that. BR right chevron like that, and that'll force it to go on the line below. So do the same again. And as you can see here, we've got do, chevron, BR, chevron, U, chevron, BR, chevron. If it doesn't work, it means that you've not got the chevrons right. So just take your time and have a quick look. So now we want to change the padding. So let's select the section and come to advanced. And we want a bit of margin at the top to increase the white space, like so. And then we're going to add padding to the top of 150. And to the bottom, we're going to put 70. To the left, we're going to put 50. And we're going to click preview changes and see how it looks. So now when we come to this section, you can see it scrolls alongside. I do feel like we could maybe increase the padding and also the font size. So let's do the font first. Style, typography, increase the size, let's go 100. Click the section. Top, we're going to do 200. Bottom, we're going to do 100. Preview changes. And that's much better. So that's that section done. Back into Elementor, click update. Now we're going to add the info about the basking sharks. So come down, click your column, and then select 2. Come to widgets, image, and drag that in. I want to select our image, and the image we want is image 9, insert media. And again, let's make sure our image size is as small as we can get it. Let's try increasing that to see. So we can actually get away with 300. So if you go to 300, image size, and then go style, and just increase the image width somewhere around there. So we've gone for 75. Now let's add the text to the right hand side. So we're going to duplicate this. Drag it down to this section, and in the section here we're going to put three. As this is to do with snorkeling, let's actually put it up to H2. And everything else is okay with that. So now let's add our text. So again, duplicate the text we've got up here. Paste it in there. There's a little bit too much text, so we'll just delete some now. Obviously, you'd be writing a bespoke article. Something like that looks okay. And then we're going to add the tickle a turtle. So come to adults only boat party, duplicate, drag it down. Tickle a turtle obviously kind of relates to snorkeling. The tickle bit might throw Google off, so let's just put H3. Duplicate our text, put it below. And now let's look how it looks in our preview changes. So we need to increase the margin at the top, and the padding either side here isn't equal. So we're going to look at increasing the padding on the right here to balance it up a little bit. Also, we'll probably add a bit of padding to the top here so that this is a bit more central. So back to Elementor, select the section, unlink, and we're going to add 50 to the top, unlink the padding. We're going to add padding to the right, somewhere around there. And then we're going to select the column on the right, advanced, going to add some padding to the top here, like so. Preview changes. And now that's laid out a little bit nicer. So let's go back, click update because we finished the section. Now we're going to do our customer review. So we only need one column for this for now. So let's click add section, one column. Now, if you type into the widget search bar, there is actually testimonial reviews that you can do. So we're going to have a quick look at that to see how that looks. But I have a feeling it's not going to be too great. Yeah, it doesn't look the best. Let's see if we can change it slightly. So we're actually quite restricted on what we can do here. So we're actually going to build our own custom one, which won't be that difficult. So right click and let's delete that. So for this, we need two columns. So right click anywhere in the column and click duplicate. Now we have two columns. And let's go to the top, add image, select the image, and we want the scuba snorkeler woman, which is image 2, insert media. Now this is going to be a small image, so I think we could get away with 150 by 150. And then we're going to come to style, border radius here, and just keep increasing that. And this will make the image circular. So I keep increasing it till it doesn't get any more circular, like so. And then we're going to come back to content. And we're going to align this image to the right. Next, we want to duplicate tickle a turtle. And we're going to duplicate this text. So obviously here you'd put your customer's name. We're just going to put customer review. We only really need one line, so let's delete some of this text. And then if we come to widgets and type in star, we can actually put our own star rating there between it like that. You can either have them outlined or solid. The outlines only really affect if you're putting less than 4 stars. So you can see here, you can decrease the star rating like so, but our business is awesome, so we're going to put 5. You can then come to style, and we can then change the color to match our color scheme. So let's put primary color. The gap between these two are a bit big, so advanced, unlink margin, and then decrease the margin top, like so. Next, we want to click column, vertical alignment, middle. Now let's look at it on the front end. So the customer review looks good. I think we could also decrease the size here, the gap, and we're going to add margin to the top and the bottom. So let's do that. So by decreasing the gap, we're going to click the text, advanced, link, decrease top, like so. Now we're going to increase padding either side. So let's go edit section. And we're actually going to add margin this time, and we'll just add it equally to the top and the bottom, like so. And we want to make this a bit more central, so let's go layout, and we're going to decrease the box width to about 690. Now we're going to head over to the left column, and we're going to increase that till it sits in the center. Preview changes. We can see here now it sits a little bit better in the center. So that's our another section done. Click update. Now we're going to do the boat party bit. So now let's add the next section. So plus, we want 2 columns this time. On the right hand side, we're going to change the background. So select the right column, style, background type, and we want image 3. Insert media. Position is going to be top center, and we want scrolled, no repeat, cover. Now we're going to add our text. So let's duplicate go snorkeling. And we're going to put party boat. Now on the left, we got a little bit of text. So let's duplicate our text. And we're going to add that there like so. We now also have an image. So let's add the image. And this one is image 6. Again, let's see if we can get it smaller. I think probably get away with 300 by 300. Let's just increase the size a little bit. There we go, we're starting to get somewhere. So now there's a big gap between the text at the top and the top of this image here. So again, we can either add the spacer, but I like to add padding instead. So click the text, advanced, padding. Just keep adding padding to the top. Somewhere around there. So now looking at it, this column is slightly smaller. So let's select the column, and we're going to put 30 in here like that. It's a little bit small. I think 40 is probably best. So next we want to add a bit of padding to the right here to give this some breathing room. So select the text and just increase the padding to the right. Looking good. There's also a big gap between the text and the top of this image. So we're going to add some more padding to the bottom. And we're going to increase the image size to 60. Now this image does overlap onto here, but we're going to finish setting out this column on the right first before we do anything. So party boat, so there needs to be more padding above party boat to give it some space. So let's select the column, advanced, unlink, and we're just going to add more padding to the top of party boat. Like that. So we're getting somewhere now. Now we want to overlay this image over this section. So select the image, content, align right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come to advanced, unlink, and then on the right margin, click negative till it overlaps, like so. And as you can see, the image is now fallen behind it. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that this column on the left is a higher priority to the one on the right, so that this is overlapped on top. So we do that with our Z index. So select the column, advanced, Z index, and put 1. And as you can see there now, it's overlapped. So now what we want to do, there's a little bit of white space here before the image starts. So we're going to come to the right hand column, and under the margin where it says bottom, we're going to increase that so it pulls the image up and gives us that overlay effect. So now we can't really see a lot of what's going on with the boat. So let's change how the boat is aligned. So come to style, and we're just going to put center center. So now the party boat is in a bit more of a good image size. Let's hit preview changes. And it's nicely overlapped on the front end. So that kind of overlap using the Z index is quite an advanced feature. So well done for achieving that. And it's always a good thing to remember. Once we've got that laid out, as we mentioned before, we want this button here, which should say party boat, to link us to this section here. Now the way we do that is we select section at the top here. In advanced, where it says class ID, we're going to put boat. And now in the button, we're going to put hashtag boat. Click preview changes. So if we've done that right, now when we click party boat, it'll take us down to the party boat section, as you can see there. So that's another section done. Let's click update. And we're going to move to the final stage. So in this section, we're going to add a contact form. So we need 2 columns. The column on the right is going to have an image. So image, drag it over, change it to image. We're going to change it to our banner image again. So image 5, insert media. And it's not a big image, so let's put it at 300. Increase the width. Now we're going to select basking shark, duplicate. And we're going to drag that down here. And in here, we're going to put contact us. And we're going to add margin to the top and bottom to give us a bit of space. Now we are going to add our contact form here. So hopefully, if you've been following the tutorial, you would have seen how to make a contact form. I'm going to show you how it's done in this tutorial here. So let's just click update because we don't want to lose the changes. And we're going to open a new window. Come through to our back office. And we're going to scroll down to Forminator here. So Forminator is a really good way of you building forms, and you can use that to then have your customers engage with you. So I'm going to show you quickly how to build one now. So click create. And there's lots of presets here. So you can actually click the contact form here, click continue. And we're going to put home page contact form, click create. And most of what we need to do is already been added, like our first name, our email address, our phone number, and a message for them to put. So we don't really need to do much there. Let's go appearance. and let's click material. Come down to colors, custom, and then our buttons here, let's change to match our website's color scheme. So head back into Elementor, select your button, style, copy the hex code there, paste it in. So click the box, paste it in, and click select. Now let's change the hover. So click hover, come back over here, click hover, copy that, click the box, paste it in, hit select. Behavior. Behavior is fine. We don't need to do much there except for add honeypot protection, and that just stops spam bots from from filling out our forms, which is one of the main reasons I love Forminator. A lot of forms don't come with it, and you need to purchase a reCAPTCHA plan from Google, and that can be expensive. So email notifications are fine. So I haven't integrated this with my MailChimp. I do have a video previously in this tutorials to show you how to integrate MailChimp to Forminator. So if you're following along, you'll see a little button here that allows you to integrate with MailChimp. Now, it won't let you select it the first time. You actually have to publish the form first. So publish the form, copy the shortcode, and then you'll be able to click the MailChimp icon and you'll be able to connect it that way. This is a little bit temperamental. I don't know why you have to publish it first, but that's just the case. So now we've got our shortcode copied. Let's come back into Elementor. And at the top, let's search in widgets for shortcode. Click and drag it over. And just paste in the shortcode that we got from Forminator. So now let's click preview changes. And our contact form has been placed in there like that. Again, let's look at increasing the width here. So let's go column, advanced, unlink, and let's just add some padding to the right. I think 20 will be enough. Because the column's making this stretch down, let's click our column here, vertical alignment. We're going to put bottom. Preview changes. And there we go, it fits in a bit nicer now. So now we're going to, as that section is complete, click update. And we're going to add our final section now. So click add, a column. And we're going to actually change it slightly from what's on our draft. So let's go select section, full width, style, classic, image, image 1, insert media. And we're going to do bottom center, scrolled, fixed, no repeat. And we're going to duplicate our big font here. Drag it down here and put and we're going to put see you on the shore. Now we're going to select section, layout, column height, fit to screen is too big as you can see, so let's do minimum height and just increase that to somewhere around 600, looks good. And I want the text to stand out a little bit, so I'm going to select the text. Obviously, let's turn this H tag down to H3. Style, I'm going to do text shadow. And that will just, you can't really see it clearly on there. If you can see here on the lighter section here, make it a bit darker so you can visualize it a bit better. So as you can see, it just creates a blurry kind of shadow around the text. Let's decrease the blur like that. So we want 13, and then we want somewhere around the middle for that column there. So let's click Preview Changes. And that's our website finished. And looking at it, perhaps we should make the shoreline the first thing you see. So click there. We're going to move it to top center. Preview changes. There we go. Looks much better. And that's how you can lay out your very own website. So let's click Update. Now in the next video tutorial, we'll be focusing on how to format this website for mobile and for tablet devices, and that's called responsive mode. So see you in the next tutorial.